All right, today we're diving into what was basically a heavyweight championship from the world of technology. This was a battle that didn't just define an industry, it literally shaped entire careers for decades.
When you peel back all the layers, this entire conflict, this massive clash of titans, it really just boils down to one of the most timeless rivalries in all of business. It's about two completely different ways to build a company and to win a market.
So, in one corner, you've got IBM. They're the brilliant, established inventor who literally wrote the book on this technology. And in the other corner, you have Oracle, the aggressive, fast-moving challenger who, frankly, was a lot more interested in writing invoices than academic papers. Okay, so here's the game plan for how we're going to break this all down. We'll start with what they were fighting for, we'll meet the contenders, then dig into their strategies, see the real-world impact of it all, and finally, figure out what the ultimate lesson from this whole war really is. All right, first things first, we've got to set the stage here because you need to understand just how high the stakes were. This was about way more than just software. Yeah, we're not just talking about selling a product. The real prize was controlling the entire information backbone of the world's biggest companies. Whoever won this thing would basically own the central nervous system of global business. The stakes really could not have been higher. Okay, now for the main event. Let's properly introduce our two fighters, because their core identities, their whole philosophy, that's absolutely key to understanding how this whole thing played out. So first up, IBM. These guys were the undisputed heavyweight champions. Big Blue, right? The methodical giant that literally invented the science behind relational databases through their researcher, Edgar Codd. Their prototype, System R, was a masterpiece of technical genius. They were the brilliant engineer. And then you have Oracle, the complete opposite. The hungry upstart, led by the, let's just say, very aggressive Larry Ellison. They didn't invent the core ideas, but they saw the huge commercial opportunity and were laser-focused on one thing, winning the market fast. So here's the million-dollar question, right? How on earth does the company that invented the technology, the one with the better science, end up getting beaten to the punch? This is where the story gets really interesting. This timeline tells you everything you need to know. 1970, IBM publishes the foundational theory. By 74, they're in the lab building this perfect prototype. But while IBM was perfecting the science, Oracle was out there selling the dream. And boom, 1979, they shipped the first commercial version and just stunned the entire industry. And that right there, that quote just sums up the entire war. IBM was focused on creating the most scientifically perfect product possible. Oracle, they were focused on getting a product, any product that worked, into the hands of customers who would pay for it. The hustle just outmaneuvered the science. But you gotta understand, this wasn't just some abstract fight happening in corporate boardrooms. No way. This had massive, real-world consequences for actual people, especially if you happen to be working in IT for a big bank. For the IT folks on Wall Street and all over the world, this was a huge deal. It was a fundamental choice about their company's future, and honestly, their own careers. The foundation they built on would define everything. So you basically had this massive fork in the road. You could stay blue, stick with the safe bet, the IBM mainframe and their DB2 database, or you could take a leap of faith and go distributed with these newer, more flexible Unix systems running Oracle. It was definitely the riskier move, but it was a bet on the future. And just think about that. 30 years. A single technology decision that an IT department made back in the 80s or 90s could literally set the entire course for someone's career. The skills they learned, the systems they knew, their value on the job market for the next 3 decades. It's wild. So after going through all that history, what's the big takeaway? What's the ultimate lesson from this epic showdown that you can still see playing out in Silicon Valley today? Well, when you lay it out like this, the conclusion is kind of obvious. Was IBM's science brilliant? Absolutely. Foundational. But Oracle's market hustle, their speed, their aggression, their pure focus on selling, that proved to be the more powerful weapon. They just out-executed IBM where it mattered most, in the market. And that leaves us with the central question of this whole story, and it's one that's just as relevant now as it was then. In the battle to build the future, what's actually more important? Having the genius to invent it, or having the hustle to go out and sell it?